Let's talk about pure and conditional obligations. So we have Articles 1179 to 1192. We discuss the pure and conditional obligations. Let's have first the three kinds of civil obligations. So number one of that is we have the pure and simple obligations, we have the conditional obligations, and we have the obligations subject to a term or period. What do we mean by pure and simple obligations? So these are obligations which are immediately demandable. They do not depend upon any future event or any period. So demandable siya, meaning immediately demandable, meaning today. Okay? Karon dayon bayran. So that is pure and simple obligations. Immediately demandable. No conditions whatsoever. Okay, so the obligations are immediately demandable. Now we have conditional obligation. The conditional obligation, that is the opposite of a pure and simple obligation because that is subject to a condition. So those obligations whose performance are dependent upon the fulfillment of an obligation or the extinguishment of which is dependent upon the fulfillment of an obligation. Okay, so the fulfillment of the condition rather of the obligation. So depende sa condition. Like for example, I will pay you if, okay, my condition, if you will pass the bar exam. So passing the bar is the condition. That's my condition before I will pay you. Or I will pay you if you pass the board exam, the CPA board exam. So there is a condition. Unlike in pure and simple obligations, there are no conditions at all. The third kind of civil obligation is the obligation subject to a term or period. So obligations whose fulfillment or extinguishment would depend upon the arrival of the term or period. Later, we're going to distinguish conditional from an obligation subject to a term or a period. But let's go first to conditions. So what is a condition? A condition is a future or uncertain event upon which the performance or extinguishment of an obligation depends. It may also be a past event which is unknown to the parties. So just like what I've said, the example that we had a while ago, I will pay you if you will pass the CPA board exam. So there's a condition. Passing the CPA board exam is a future and uncertain event. Why? It's uncertain to happen. You are not sure whether you pass the board exam or not, okay? Future, because it will happen in the future. After you're still in your first year, so after 5 years, 5 to 6 years, you will be taking your CPA board exam. So when you say condition in relation to our discussion, we have the element here of futurity and uncertainty. Kana of future or uncertain event. So the elements of futurity and uncertainty. So it will happen in the future and it is unsure, dili sigurado, whether or not it will happen. Okay? So how about the past event? What is the futurity here in the past event? Kasi a condition may also be a past event which is unknown to the parties. So ma'am, nga nung mahimo mag-past event, nga ang condition future man, di ba? So class, when you say past event as a condition, it is the future knowledge of the past event where the futurity lies. For example, there was a plane crash and you are not sure whether X survived in the plane crash. So the event, the plane crash, is already a past event. So maybe X died in the plane crash. But as of now, we don't know yet whether or not X died. So it is the future knowledge of the past event where the future lies. So that is the definition of a condition. Kinds of conditions. We have suspensive condition, resolutory condition, potestative condition, casual condition, mixed condition, and impossible condition. When we say suspensive condition, the fulfillment of which gives rise to an obligation, meaning if you will pass the bar exam, that condition, okay, if that condition will be fulfilled, then it will give rise to my obligation to pay you. Okay, I will pay you if you will pass the bar exam. That's a suspensive condition obligation. We have resolutory condition. In resolutory class, the fulfillment of which extinguishes an obligation. So that's the kabaliktaran of suspensive condition. Because in suspensive condition, the fulfillment of the condition gives rise to an obligation. But in resolutory condition, the fulfillment of the condition extinguishes the obligation. Like this example, I will give you 10,000 monthly allowance. Okay, so karon naghatag na ko sa imuha until you graduate in college. So that's the resolutory condition there. Until you graduate in college. Meaning, if that condition is fulfilled, if you will graduate in college, then my obligation to give you 10,000 monthly allowance will be extinguished. So that is the difference between suspensive and resolutory condition. Next, we have potestative condition. Potestative. It is a condition whose fulfillment is dependent upon the will of the parties. Isa sa ilaha, magdepende sa isa sa parties involved ang fulfillment ng condition. So do not think na pag potestative siya, it is always upon the debtor. So it could be the debtor or the creditor because they are the two parties, no, in that obligation. Now, usually in potestative conditions, ang automatic na moabot sa mind sa student is that it is void, which is not correct, Jude. Only that potestative condition, which is suspensive and at the same time dependent upon the sole will of the debtor, then that is void. Why? Because it makes the obligation illusory. For example, I will pay if I want to. Diba? I will pay if I want to. So that is potestative because it depends upon the will of the debtor. It is also suspensive because the obligation will be performed only if the condition is fulfilled. That is, if he wants to. So if you are the debtor, the natural human reaction is that I don't like an obligation. Siyempre, ikaw ang debtor, ikaw ang utangan, di ka gusto obligasyon to pay. Okay? So if there's a way that I can avoid, I would avoid kung ikaw si debtor. So if the birth of the obligation depends upon your will as the debtor, then you will not pay the obligation. Okay? You will do everything so that the obligation will not be paid. Okay? So walay obligasyon. And you will do everything for that obligation not to arise. Para walay obligation at all. And because of that, it becomes illusory. That's why, in that case, it is suspensive and at the same time dependent upon the will of the debtor, hence, that is void. Okay, that is void. So, potestative suspensive, or it is resolutory on the part of the creditor, then that is valid. Okay, that is valid. Only potestative suspensive on the part of the debtor is void. Pero kapag ang condition, ang fulfillment ng condition is dependent upon the will of the creditor, whether it is suspensive or resolutory condition, then that is a valid obligation, conditional obligation. But if it is dependent upon the will of the debtor, then that is void. Okay, let's have more examples of that potestative condition. Okay, under Article 1182, when the fulfillment of the condition depends upon the sole will of the debtor, and that is void. Again, that is a potestative condition that is suspensive, okay, on the part of the debtor. Like I've said, it is void. But if it depends upon the chance or upon the will of the third person, then that is valid. If it depends also upon the will of the creditor, then that is valid. So please remember, upon the sole will of the debtor, that is void. Later, we will discuss a mixed condition. Then we will see, class, if a mixed condition obligation is valid or not. So let's have examples under 1182. Examples. I will pay you if I want. So that obligation is void. Why? Because the condition is dependent upon the sole will of the debtor. It becomes illusory, so that is void. Okay, that's a potestative condition. Number 2, I will pay you if you want. Here, the you there is the creditor, so it is dependent upon the will of the creditor. And if the potestative condition is dependent upon the will of the creditor, then that is valid. Number 3, I will pay you if it will rain tomorrow. If it will rain tomorrow pertains to a chance, okay? Chance. So if it depends upon chance, if the fulfillment of the condition depends upon a chance, then that's a casual condition. And if it's a casual condition, class, that is valid. Okay, number 4, I will pay you if Anna will dance. So if Anna will dance, that is dependent upon a third person. So if that is dependent upon a third person, then that is valid. The condition there, the obligation, which is subject to a condition, to the will of the third party, to the third person in this case, then that is a valid obligation, a valid condition also. Okay, so those are the examples under 1182 plus examples po na siya ng potestative condition, casual condition, and mixed condition. When we say mixed condition, that is dependent upon chance and upon the will of the parties. Again, that is also valid. Like for example, I will pay you if you want, diba? You want, that's the creditor, and if it will rain tomorrow. So that's a mixed condition. Kasi both, okay, may dalawang conditions there. Both conditions are valid. The first condition, if you want, and the second condition, if it will rain tomorrow, that's upon chance. So that's a mixed condition, dependent upon the will of the parties and upon chance. Again, if it is a mixed condition, it is valid. To Article 1183. So this pertains to an impossible condition. An impossible condition is again another kind of condition. Okay, so remember what are those kinds? We have the suspensive, resolutory, we have potestative, we have casual, we have mixed, and now we have impossible condition under Article 1183. So impossible conditions, those contrary to good customs or public policy, and those prohibited by law shall annul the obligation which depends upon them. If the obligation is divisible, that part thereof which is not affected by the impossible or unlawful condition shall be valid. The condition not to do an impossible thing shall be considered as not having been agreed upon. Okay, examples. I will pay you if you will eat the moon. If you will eat the moon, that's the condition here. Is that a valid condition? Of course not. That's an impossible condition. You cannot eat the moon. So under Article 1183, that obligation subject to an impossible condition is void. Number 2, I will pay you if you will kill A. If you will kill A, class, is what? Contrary to law. Okay? Prohibited by law. Killing, that's murder. Killing is prohibited by law. So if you will kill A, that is an impossible condition that is contrary to law. So that obligation is void. I will pay you if you will not kill A. So remember, the condition not to do an impossible thing shall be considered as not having been agreed upon. So it's as if it's not being agreed upon. So valid. I will pay you if you will sell my car, land, or kill A. So there are three options here. If you will sell my car, if you will sell my land, or if you will kill A. Remember, class, under Article 1183, if the obligation is divisible, the part thereof which is not affected by the impossible or unlawful condition shall be valid. So, what is not valid there? What is void there? The part which is to kill A. So, since the obligation there is divisible, ma-divide. Pwede you will sell my car, pwede po you will sell my land, or you will kill A. So, tanggalo nato ang you will kill A because that is an unlawful condition. Unlawful siya. So, ang say mabilin. For it to be valid, ang mabili na lang, I will pay you if you will sell my car or my land. So, that's it. Lastly, excuse, I borrowed money from you. Later, you agreed to kill A before I will pay you. So again, that is void. That is unlawful to kill a person. Here, to kill A. So there, the obligation is a pre-existing obligation. I borrowed money from you. Okay, that's a pre-existing obligation. It's not dependent upon anything else. So nag-exist na jud siya. Therefore, it does not depend upon the fulfillment of the condition which is impossible or which is unlawful for its existence, and only the condition is void. So here, later you agreed to kill A before I will pay you. So here, the condition to kill A is void, but not the pre-existing obligation of the debtor to pay the creditor. My obligation to pay you because I borrowed money from you. So only the condition of killing A is void, but the pre-existing obligation, which is the debt, no, my debt, I borrowed money from you, diba? So na ko'y utang sa imuha, that pre-existing obligation is valid. Article 1186. Article 1186 provides that the condition shall be deemed fulfilled when the obligor voluntarily prevents its fulfillment. So let's have an example. Okay? A obliged to sell his land to B if B will sing. A slapped B on the face, leaving him with fatal injuries. B could no longer sing. So A, the obligor here, the debtor, voluntarily prevents the fulfillment of the condition. Why? What's the condition here? The condition is if B will sing. Now, gisumbag man niya si B, so B could no longer sing. Hence, the condition here shall be deemed fulfilled. It's as if ni kanta na si B. Hence, A now is obliged to sell his land to B. So remember the three requisites here for the application of Article 1186. First, the condition is suspensive, meaning it gives the fulfillment of the condition gives rise to the obligation. So the suspensive condition here is if B will sing. Then the obligor actually prevents the fulfillment of the condition. Yes, because A here slapped B on the face. He actually voluntarily prevented the fulfillment of the condition. And lastly, the debtor acts voluntarily. Wala nagsugo sa iya, ha? Okay? So in that case, the condition shall be deemed fulfilled. Hence, the obligor now has to comply with his obligation. Article 1187. So what are the effects of a conditional obligation? To give, okay, once the condition has been fulfilled. Then, under Article 1187, it shall retroact to the day of the constitution of the obligation. Nevertheless, when the obligation imposes reciprocal prestations upon the parties, the fruits and interests during the pendency of the condition shall be deemed to have been mutually compensated. If the obligation is unilateral, the debtor shall appropriate the fruits and interests received, unless, from the nature and circumstances of the obligation, it should be inferred from the intention of the person constituting the same was different. So here, class, under Article 1187, if the condition, okay, the suspensive condition is fulfilled, it will give rise to the obligation. So what are the effects if the suspensive condition is fulfilled? Now, the fulfillment retroacts to the date of the constitution of the obligation. What do we mean by that? It is as if the obligation existed at the time of the constitution of the obligation. Okay? So, for example, in a conditional contract of sale, kasi we're talking about conditions. So, let's have conditional contract of sale. May kontrata ng pagbaligya. For example, January 1, 2019, A and B entered into a conditional contract of sale over a parcel of land. So B, the buyer, will pay 50% down payment, and the balance will be paid within a period of, let's say, 1 year. So January 2020 na siya. In the meantime, in the conditional contract of sale, it is stipulated that upon down payment, the buyer is already entitled to possess the parcel of land. However, the ownership of the property will be reserved by the seller until full payment of the purchase price. So, class, different ang possession sa ownership. You may possess the land, okay? You may be in possession of the parcel of land, but you're not the owner. Kasi, let's say, ikaw ang nag-rent sa land. Ikaw ang lessee, okay? Ako ang lessor. Akong giparent akong land sa imuha. Of course, you are in possession of the land. You possess the land. Naa ka sa yuta. But who is the owner? Ako. Okay? Nagparenta lang ko sa imuha. So, different ang owner sa possessor. Different ang ownership sa possession. So, here, sa ilahang conditional contract of sale, it was stipulated by the parties that upon down payment, the buyer is already entitled to possess the land. However, the ownership will be reserved by the seller upon full payment of the purchase price. Kapag fully paid na. Kapag down payment, dili pa. Okay, so here, nag-down payment na si B. So, he is now placed sa possession of the land. Question, is B already the owner because it is delivery that transfers ownership? Of course, not. Not yet. Because it is specified in the conditional contract of sale that ownership is reserved by the seller. Here, the suspensive condition is what? It is the full payment of the purchase price. Because upon full payment of the purchase price, then B will become the owner of the parcel of land. So what if B pays the balance within 1 year? Is there automatic transfer of ownership to B? The answer, of course, is yes, because it is a conditional contract of sale. There is already a sale, only that the effect of the transfer of ownership is suspended until the full payment of the purchase price, upon the fulfillment of the positive suspensive condition. So again, what is the suspensive condition here? That is the full payment of the purchase price. So is there a need to execute a deed of absolute sale? No need. Why? Because there is already a sale, although the transfer of ownership is made subject to the full payment of the purchase price. So upon full payment by B, when will the rights of B over the land start? Halimbawa, nagbayad siya January 1, 2020. So the deed of conditional sale was executed January 1, 2019, di ba? When will the ownership of B start? So pursuant under Article 1187, it shall retroact to the date of the constitution of the obligation, which is January 1, 2019, and not January 1, 2020 kung kano sa siya nag-full payment. So that's the effect if the suspensive condition is fulfilled. Article 1189. So under Article 1189, we have 6 rules that apply in case of improvement, loss, or deterioration of a specific thing. Again, we are talking here of a specific thing because if it's a generic thing, then you cannot talk of improvement, loss, or deterioration because it could be any property of the same nature, kind, or quality. Remember, kapag generic thing, okay, the genus of a thing never perishes. Pero kapag specific thing, pag mawala na siya, wala na, goodbye na. Okay, you can never find another thing nakapareha niya because it's specific. So again, 1189, please remember, we're talking about specific thing. Okay, what are the 6 rules? Nasa sa 1189. The first rule provides that if the thing is lost without the fault of the debtor, the obligation shall be extinguished. So here you apply the doctrine of fortuitous event. We have already discussed the doctrine of fortuitous event, that if it is a specific thing and the thing is lost without the fault of the debtor, then the debtor has no liability at all. So just like here in this example, A is obliged to deliver his car to B if B will sing. So the condition is if B will sing. That is a suspensive condition. First instance, what if the car was lost without the fault of A? What's the consequence? Is A liable? Of course not. A is not liable for damages. Again, remember the doctrine of fortuitous event. If the specific thing is lost without the fault of the debtor is not liable. Kasi if it's a generic thing, this is not applicable. Kasi kapag generic thing, bisag pag nawala siya without the fault of the debtor, still the debtor has to comply with his obligation. Kay makit-an ra gyapon na nimo siya because it's generic. You can always find anything, any property of the same nature, the same kind, or the same quality. Second rule, if the thing is lost through the fault of the debtor, he shall be obliged to pay damages. It is understood that the thing is lost when it perishes or goes out of commerce or disappears in such a way that its existence is unknown or it cannot be recovered. So second instance, what if the car was lost due to the fault of A? So klaro na kaayo, that is the kabaliktaran, no? The opposite of the first instance. Of course, the answer is yes, A is liable for damages. Salaan man siya. Number 3, third rule. When the thing deteriorates without the fault of the debtor, the impairment is to be borne by whom? By the creditor. Okay? So what if here, the car figured in an accident and the paints were scratched without A's fault, or na-fade ang paint without the fault of A? So here, the impairment is to be borne by B, the creditor. Kaya wala may sala si A. Okay? Fourth rule, if it deteriorates through the fault of the debtor, the creditor may choose between the rescission of the obligation and its fulfillment with indemnity for damages in either case. Okay, in either case. So here, if the car deteriorates due to the fault of A, nag-deteriorate ang car. Okay? So let's say, nag-fade ang paint. Okay. Kang kinsa fault sa debtor. The creditor has 2 options. Mamili si creditor. The creditor may either rescind the contract, okay, or the obligation, or fulfillment of the obligation with damages in either case. So rescission plus damages, fulfillment of the obligation plus damages. Mamili si creditor. I-rescind meaning di na niya padayon, i-cancel na niya ang sabot, ang obligasyon. Okay? Fulfillment of the obligation meaning ipadayon. Okay? A must deliver the car to B. So in either case, there is a liability to pay for damages. Okay? We have rescission plus damages and fulfillment plus damages. Fifth rule, if the thing is improved by its nature or by time, the improvement shall inure to the benefit of the creditor. So if the car is improved by nature or time, walay gibuhat si creditor, then, or even si debtor, then the improvement shall inure to B, meaning the creditor shall enjoy the improvements. Sixth rule, the final rule under Article 1189. If it is improved at the expense of the debtor, he shall have no other right than that granted to the usufructuary. What do we mean by usufructuary? So from the word usufruct, usufruct means the right to enjoy the thing, the right to use the thing. So usufructuary pertains to the person who has the right to use the thing, who has the right to enjoy the thing. So if the car class is improved at the expense of A, of the debtor, meaning si A ang nigasto para mapagwapa ang car, then A shall have no other right than that granted to the usufructuary. So here A now becomes the usufructuary. A has the right to enjoy and to use the thing. Maulang na ang right ni A, ang right ng debtor. Okay? So those are the rules under Article 1189. Again, this is about a specific thing, not a generic thing. So improvement, loss, or deterioration of the specific thing pending delivery. Meaning pending what? Pending fulfillment of the condition. Okay? Kasi in this case, the car is to be delivered only if the condition, the suspensive condition is fulfilled. And that is if B will sing.